Weakness to Warrior Mindset, Harmonica Jam, and then talk. I was just messing around. Sometimes you have to mess around. Learn different notes, learn different rhythms, learn different, just messing around. Sometimes that's how you get breakthroughs and how you get good at things. So the harmonica talk is something I'm guilty of. Something a lot of people get guilty of, or they try to do, is like, I'm going to ask you a question, like, what do you want to do with the harmonica? And most people say, well, I want to get better. Well, I want to get better too, but that's a broad range of things. You have to narrow it down. Like, you have to pick one certain thing. Like, I want to get better at bending. Like, I have struggles. I have struggles getting the 2 half-step bend and the 2 whole step bend. Also have trouble getting the 3 half-step bend, the 3 whole stop bend, and then the 3 whole stop and a half bend. So I'm having trouble with that. Like, bending is just basically, I can do the 4 bend. 4 bend is this. That's the 4. This is the 3 draw half step. I can try to get it. This is the 2 draw bend. Like, I can hear it, but like when other people play it, I can hear, like, when they bend it, like I can hear their bends, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds bluesy, and that's what I'm trying to get to. It's basically, it has to do with your tongue position. Your tongue dictates the way it sounds. Like, sometimes for the draw, for the half step 4 draw bend, you gotta go. And I try that for the freaking 3 draw half step bend, but it doesn't work. Now I've researched the internet, and some people say you gotta go. We can do a little example though. I don't hear it. Maybe I'm just tone deaf, and it just takes an outside observer. I can't speak this morning. You know, another set of ears, or me recording it and saying, okay, yeah, now I can hear it, but I can't hear it. But back to the thing that I'm guilty of is like trying to work on too many things at once. Like trying to work on your walls, trying to work on your bends, trying to work on your vibratos. Like, finding a new lick that you found and you're trying to work on that. What happens is you spend too much time on everything else and not on one thing. You got to focus on just that one thing. Pick that one thing you want to do and then do it over a course of like 2 weeks to a month. Spend a month just practicing that. And then when you got that down and it becomes subconscious and second nature, then you should move on to the next thing. That's where I'm at in my progression right now. I'm going to take all of June and just work on my bends to get them down straight. And then in July, I'm going to work on my freaking warbles, or trills as they call them. And a warble is a trill and trill. They're the same thing. They're just called by different names. Or shake, whichever you want to call them. But that's just moving from back and forth from one note to the next note. So the most popular is the four draw and five draw warble, shake, trill. So it's just like I can hit it 50% of the time, but I want to be able to hit it like mid freaking riff. Like I'm not there yet, but I want to work on my bends before I work on my trills, because bending is like quintessential to the blues on the harmonica. And then I'll work on some other things, but I gotta have a process, and the process is I state what I want to work on. I set out a time, and then I make a rule for myself, and I do not break that rule. Like I'll play like a bar of the blues, and either at the end do the warble, or in the middle do the trill, warble, shake, whichever it is, and then stick with that for the entirety of the training program. That way, again, it becomes second nature. It slips into my subconscious, and it's like I can just hit it on the frickin' anywhere I want to. So that's the things that most people will get hung up as you progress. I hope you're starting to learn the harmonica. I hope you're going to pick it up and add, depth and layers and character to who you are as a person. Not only if you're going through this self-improvement and along your journey, I hope you pick up the harmonica. We need more harp players in America and the world. It can open so many doors for you. You can just whip it out and people will be like, hey man, that sounds good. Let me hear you play a song. Because right now I'm stuck on just playing stupid melodies. And I don't want to be playing melodies. I want to freaking be able to get up. Again, I want to be able to be playing at the Bluegrass on the Grass in Carlisle, Pennsylvania next year in July. That is my goal. That is my year goal, to be able to get there. And I'm about to take on an online coach, just him and I, one-on-one. And it's a year, it's a whole year curriculum. So he's going to walk me through it. I'm obviously going to sign up and see what he has to offer, and let him help me get to the next step. Because I've seen him perform, like not in live, but I've seen him play the harmonica on the YouTubeage, and through his tutorial, sort of intro tutorial. He's pretty good, so that's the kind of stuff I need right now, instead of just like learning from online stuff where you don't get really any feedback, or you don't get any sort of teacher that's been doing it for like 5-10 years. All these Luke and Tomlin are great, but again, sometimes you need that expert person to be able to reach out. I've tried to reach out to people, and people are people. They say they talk a bunch of shit and they promise a bunch of shit and never come through with it. Like I was supposed to buy this kayak whitewater kayak off this dude. He's like, I have a whitewater kayak. I'm like, want to sell it? He's like, yeah, I want to sell it. I'm like, great, man, send me pictures. No bugger hasn't sent me pictures yet, so it's just like, if you're not gonna, you know, be a man and keep your word is your bond. Don't feed me some bullshit. You know, don't get my hopes up. I'm like, yeah, whitewater. I've been looking for, you know, a whitewater kayak, and I'm not going out and paying $1,000 for a brand new one, and then have to pay to get the spray skirt and the freaking paddles and all that. If he's gonna give it to me for a pretty decent deal, you know, that's great. But don't blow smoke up my ass. You know, people like that, I don't respect. If you're gonna tell me you're gonna sell it to me. Send me the pictures and let me make the decision on whether I want to sell it. And don't be trying to jack me up. I got $800. Like, I ain't paying $800. I can pretty much go get a brand new one just for that. So, but back to the freaking harmonica. Again, you got to focus on what you know and just progressively and slowly get better. Just like anything in life. Progressively and slow wins the race. The harmonica is a great freaking instrument. You can play it the rest of your life as long as you're able to breathe, you know. It helps with lung capacity. It helps your breathing. The one thing about the harmonica is it's all about, you know, the strength of your breath. If you're blowing too hard, it's going to sound like shit. And if you're blowing too weak, you're not going to hear anything. But using your breath to be able to create music is great. You can take it anywhere. You know, it's a pretty self-sufficient instrument. Not like all the other ones. If you drop it, it might fuck it up like a guitar or some shit like that, but there's very little maintenance to it. Once a week, every 2 weeks, you know, run it under the faucet and then tap out all the water and then let it dry overnight, because obviously it's getting moisture in there and bacteria and all that stuff, so you don't want to blow a bunch of junk up in there. That's why you always, you know, rinse your mouth out very, very good if you eat, and then you go to play the harmonica, because you don't want anything up in there. You don't want to be sucking any of that shit back in. So I just run it under the water, lukewarm. You know, take a toothbrush, get down in these creases here, get some of that spit and grime and all that stuff down in there cleaned up. You know, I've heard people putting peroxide on it and stuff like that, but just run it under lukewarm water, beat it out on the tap of your hand, because sometimes you'll get spit up in there, because anything new to your mouth is going to be, you're going to get a lot of saliva in there, and once you start blowing, you're going to blow the saliva in there, block the reeds. So yeah, that's about all I got for today. Make sure you go out and pick up the harmonica and subscribe and like to my videos, and start to walk the weakness to warrior mindset journey.